Hello and welcome to Bend the Knee, a Song of Ice and Fire podcast. I am Sir Matt.
And I am Sir Jimmy of House Nuts, and we're doing a little bit of a reaction, I guess, because it's teaser time for House of the Dragon season 2. Big day, and we kind of knew it was coming. We knew it would be this weekend at some point, but it looks like it released during the panel or the con that's going down in Brazil, and we're excited.
Yeah, 75 seconds are coming, is what they said the other day. I mean, woo, that's a lot more than I get before I'm coming. So, had to. Sorry, it was right there. So, anyway, so here we go. We're just gonna hit play. Jimmy and I are gonna watch it at the same time. And excuse me, haven't watched it yet. It came out while I was at work, and I was like, nope, literally. Haven't watched it, so we're just gonna hit play here. It's a minute 25 seconds. So Jimmy, I think we got it both queued up, each on our own thing here. So we'll do 3, 2, 1, go.
Errors were made in the hours following King Viserys' death.
The war be fought.
Goodness.
Many will die. And the victor will eventually ascend the throne.
Oh, I like the crown.
Yes, dude. Some of these shots already remind me so much of Game of Thrones.
There is no war so hateful to the gods.
Archery in the background when Daemon's killing sword.
Between kin.
The scale of these shots.
And no war so bloody as a war between dragons.
Oh.
Bro, that dragon fly over at the end. So much of the first teasers for season 1, we weren't sure what the dragons were going to look like, but this time we saw dragon riding, dragon fire, and that flyover at the end. I mean, the shots alone were incredible.
Yeah.
Like some of those
I'll keep it playing here in the thing. I mean, wow, that's the biggest takeaway from this immediately. And again, this is the teaser trailer, is the scale, the sheer scale of these shots. Game of Thrones so much, and even House of the Dragon, so much is like tight little corridors, right? Inside King's Landing, and even like when you're at the wall, right? It's always like in the stairwell and things like that. And this, I mean, just the cinematography is unbelievable here. I mean, that shot right there for Rhaenyra. I mean, look at her face. You think that's like season 1, episode 1?
I think it's likely. Yeah.
Like this might even be the opening shot. Yep, your son.
Her, I think for her, this could definitely be early on. The crown. What about the crowns, dude?
Yeah,
it looks
fantastic. Look, I mean, here. To give Team Green a little bit of fairness, I mean, Aegon much is like Jon Snow, doesn't even want it, right? He didn't want to be here. He didn't want to be king, okay? But he is.
And the drip is immaculate. I mean, he looks pretty nice right there with the chain, like green, kind of like chain look around his cape there. You see that?
Yeah, and then there's Daemon grabbing his helm. Now, this is a shot. Is this in the Vale, maybe? I mean, it kind of... I mean, obviously, it's a Targaryen banner, but this is kind of what it's giving me vibes of. Or maybe this is on Dragonstone.
Possibly. I mean, it's a bunch of tent setup, so I think it's obviously war setup, right? Like a camp. But
yeah,
maybe Riverlands.
Okay, here we go. There's the Hightower banner. Let me see what all we can see here. Some of these sigils really have to go back and dive in and break down, but none of them are the ones that immediately jump out to me. Otto Hightower. I think this is also... I think, first of all, I think this whole trailer is like nothing past episode 3 to start with. And I would imagine this is her talking. This is Alicent talking to Otto Hightower, immediately understanding what just happened what
Mhm.
Aemond just did, and she's probably like, "Oh my god, like this is gonna be like really bad." Like, because you remember they sort of in season one, you go into it reading Fire and Blood and everything, and you're thinking Alicent is like the terrible witch queen, right? If you've only ever read the source material. But they did such a good job in season one of sort of making her a sympathetic character and begin to really see her side of the story. I
Mhm.
think that's where I think they're going to continue on with that.
Yeah, they'll
There's old
continue to
Chris.
flesh out the characters.
Yeah, there's old
Seems like there
Crispy
might be multiple
Cole.
beheadings, right? Because there's a beheading there, and then a little bit later,
Yeah, I do like this shot here actually too, where it's that whatever that thing is they use on the council, the little like ball
the
to
little
signify
vote
that
ball,
they're.
yeah.
And I like that he's spinning it around because it's going to show he's like, I'm bored on this council. Like, I don't even want to be here. Right. And he's the king deciding everything. I do
Mhm.
like, man, his hair, just this shot here, he definitely looks a little aged, a little weathered
That's the big thing. He
from it.
looks a little bit more mature here, and in the source material at the point we're gonna open up at, it's not like he's leaped forward 10 years, but just the actor himself, you can tell he's grown up a little bit.
Hmm.
Man, what a
Yeah.
shot.
And then
Look at this.
yeah, what a great shot of Rhaenyra.
Ah,
Look how different they look. Like Aegon looks kind of weathered and tired, and here's Rhaenyra who just lost her son, right? And she still looks like
queenly.
queenly. Yep, yep. Oh, look at I mean, God, look at her gown here with the dragon
So
like
sick.
side piece. It's so epic. It's so good. Okay, HBO. Dragons flying over. Yeah, I mean, here we go. Just more big shots. I mean, this is what we've been wanting, right? Like big, huge, epic open field battles. There are obviously some big battles in Game of Thrones, but I think in House of the Dragon, we're likely to see more just like big open field battles. Because really, outside of like Battle of the Bastards, the Battle at the Wall, there's the one where Daenerys just storms um the Targaryen camp and like torches it. Like there's really not a lot of like huge open field battles.
Mhm.
There's a lot of naval combat in Game of Thrones, but here we go. There's another
See, that looks like another
beheading.
beheading, right?
And the interesting thing here, look at
Heart
ooh,
tree.
yeah, the tree right there. Aemon staring at the throne. I love how they have like the lightning in the back. Now, what's going on here? Is this maybe Luke's like a burial for Lucerys Valerian? Maybe.
Maybe.
I thought for a second before they cut to this being Alicent, for a second, just because we watched it so quickly, I thought it was Missandei, who we are not Missandei. What's her name? The girl with the terrible accent.
Oh,
Massaria.
Mysaria, yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was Massaria for a quick second, and then now obviously being able to pause and then see it again, it's just that shot of Alicent.
Oh,
Then
man, look at
here,
that. Look at this.
yeah.
Doesn't this really make you feel like this is like a cinema event? Like you would
Oh
go
yeah,
see this in IMAX? I mean, it's on a different level. It really is.
yeah.
Look at
I mean,
this.
wow. Yeah, look at the weathering on the face there. Huge. I mean, yeah, this looks like it should be shown in theaters.
Please give me an
Yeah,
IMAX.
seriously. King's Landing. Oh, that's the brothers that are going to battle. Oh, is this blood and cheese?
Yes, it is.
Wow. So yeah, I mean we know, but wow.
Yikes. Well,
Yikes.
I should say it looks like blood and cheese. We don't know
I
for
think
sure,
it's
but it looks like blood
most
and cheese.
likely.
Oof.
Some more dragon riding. God, look at that old dragon just
That's what I'm
looking
saying, dude. Look at this. I mean,
monstrous.
holes in the wings. I mean, I would
Okay,
venture
then
to
just
say
then
those
the
few
logo.
dragon shots look just as good as anything in later seasons of Game of Thrones and better than last year, probably.
Yeah. So Jimmy, I mean, whoo, just we're doing initial thoughts here, and we can do like on the podcast, we can do a mega breakdown of it and talk about what we think more here. But man, it looks awesome.
Here's the thing. Whenever it's in production, like we cover the news all the time on the podcast, but I am always excited. But I don't let myself really start thinking about it in depth until I see the first teaser trailer. And teaser trailers and trailers in general can be misleading or not at all a benchmark of what the quality of the show is. But because this show had such a great season 1, and then you have the previous 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, like a 99% chance that this is just going to be amazing. And what I'm seeing there is what they're going to be focusing on, which is the conflict. And I think it's going to be, as always, I think it's just going to be must watch TV every single week. And we're going to be covering it. And if I know it's been a while, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long. Like, I'm like, wow, season 2, here it is. Like,
dude, it looks amazing. And I'm still just so blown away by the sheer scale that we saw in that in that teaser. And well, I mean, if you go back and you think about the first teaser for House of the Dragon, I mean, it was because we had no idea what it was going to be. I mean, we knew like context wise what it was going to be, but seeing like Matt Smith and all this, like now we've been to that world and now we're getting to see it unfold. And I just think season 2 is going to be so much bigger. It's going to be so much better of a spectacle because we don't have the awkward time jumps, right? We're not getting introduced to these characters and it's going back and forth. And doing things, and sometimes, for sheer shock value, at least that's sort of the way it's presented, or sort of the way the people who aren't as familiar with the source material take it, like we do. So I think this season is going to feel much better paced. I think it's going to feel much more grand, and the story will be much easier to focus on without the time jumps.
Yeah, this is the story that the team wanted to tell. George is the one that convinced him, like, you have to kind of lead in with Viserys and even the Jaehaerys scene that we got, which was amazing. But they really had to tell that pre-story. And now I think the challenges are far less. And to know that the strike didn't really affect this makes me not feel too wary. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not worried about the 8 episodes either. I know a lot of people were kind of worried about that, but I think this thing's going to move at a full clip. And we'll want things to breathe, obviously, but we have to remember this isn't an 8-season show. This is a 3, maybe 4-season show
at most. And season 4 might be like 3 mega episodes or something. I mean, like a Sherlock. Remember that was like a hour and a half episode type of a season. That might be, if we do get a season 4, what we get. So just wanted to pop on here and do our initial reactions. And of course, Jimmy and I will be back. But I'll release this sort of like right now, and which is the Saturday that this is coming out, and then we'll do our normal podcast, and we'll be diving much deeper into it because there's a lot more I want to talk about too when we have the opportunity to really dive into it. Because things about like the production cost and stuff like that too. I'm very intrigued now that this is like Warner Brothers Discovery's project and not like AT&T's project. Still owning it. Maybe trying to cut their budget or anything going into it, because it looks like they're just like, nope, whatever little money we do have, since this company's
who's to say they didn't cut a bunch of other stuff to funnel more money into this? Like, can we make
that's what
more?
I know. You know what? Batgirl, that Looney Tunes movie, they all got the axe for this. Yeah, we ain't got time for that crap. Get that crap out of here. Okay,
it's where the big boys play. All right.
Yeah, seriously. Dune. We're like, hey, we got to push Dune back. All right, we can't afford to release it because we got to pay for the dragons.
I will say this: Dune trailers and Dune the movie, I loved it. It had like that grandiose, so epic feeling of like this is an event. That trailer, more so than season 1, has that feel, like that big, like awe-inspiring moments. I can't wait.
Yeah, because it has competition too, right? I mean,
true.
There's fantasy competition. I mean, there was going into it last time, but you didn't know as much about what everything else was going to be coming out. Whereas now, hey, shots have been fired. All right, it's got to compete against The Witcher, and I mean, well, it doesn't really have to, because Shadow and Bone got canceled, and The Witcher doesn't even have Henry Cavill anymore. So really, it's just kind of this versus Rings of Power, and I guess Wheel of Time. So
I think at this point
they're here to. Yeah, they're here to say, and I think the best way to close this out is they're here to say, bend the knee. Okay.
Nice.
Let's go. All right. So with that, as always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Be sure to check out the big podcast where Jimmy and I will come back next week and break down this whole thing. And remember that winter is coming.